Hey, MeetEdgar community. Today we've got a live stream all about getting comfortable on camera because let's be truthful here. It's kind of an awkward situation to talk to a computer screen. I always like to remind myself with anything new that you do in life, it's always going to be a bit awkward before it becomes elegant. So if you're someone who's a little afraid to jump on camera, give this video a like because I want to know how excited you are to get a little bit better at it so you can connect more authentically with your community, make those really great relationships that are going to lead to sales and convert people to your brand later on. So really thinking about the ability to add your own unique personality to your videos is super important because they make your brand more relatable and you're going to attract a stronger following and a more cohesive community. Anyone can truly produce great videos. So that's the first mindset shift you need to have. You are not someone who is a special unicorn, I'm sorry to tell you, who just can't produce videos. Anyone can do it. I grew up as a super shy military brat who moved from place to place and who hated making new friends all the time. And now I am very comfortable speaking to people, very comfortable being on camera. So if I can do it, I know you can do it as well. And truly, using your personality as a vehicle for your message is going to make your brand resonate in people's heads way more than if they just read your status updates. Because in a written status update, you don't get tone, you don't get personality, and you don't get that memorable visual facial connection in the way that you do with video. So get on your video and get excited about making sure your brand is showing up in people's feeds in a way that they're actually going to remember. Because like I said at the very beginning, talking to a camera really isn't a natural thing that we do, especially growing up. So first, be kind to yourselves. Cameras really do make you feel and look a little bit weird sometimes, but that's truly because we're not used to seeing ourselves on camera, right? So that's tip number one, just get comfortable seeing and hearing yourself on camera. That means filming yourself, talking to friends and interviewing friends. That means filming yourself perhaps just talking and practicing. These things matter for you to be more self-aware of what your weird little tics are, what you repeat and what you say language-wise a little too much. And this kind of becoming self-aware is super important. One of the things that I know is one of my weirdsies is I talk really fast, as you've noticed. Breathing and not blinking on camera can actually be a little bit of a sign to your followers that you're not confident and you are not someone who they want to keep watching, because it's not a natural thing to see someone not breathing and not blinking, but that's what we do when we get nervous, right? We forget to blink, we forget to breathe. So remember the two B's there. Remember to breathe and remember to blink. These two things are really important as well because breathing is a signal to calm down for your body. And we do our best work when we are in a calm and relaxed state. So this is a twofold tip right here. Remembering to breathe calms your body throughout your entire process of filming your video. Why do you think there is decades worth of breath work, meditations, yoga practices that all speak to how important breathing is? Take that practice into your video. And truly, being confident is something that you want to put, because watching someone who's not confident is one of the most uncomfortable things, right? So remind yourself of that. Show up confidently, show up bravely, because that is going to lead to your followers actually enjoying that video. If you want to get really nerdy and scientific about it, there's actually something called mirror neurons. And these mirror neurons, if you see someone being happy, your brain will actually go into the fact that they are happy too. You want to mirror the thing that you're seeing. So produce a happy emotion for people, because when we speak about social media and selling on social media, we speak to the fact that emotional bonds with your brand are going to move people to purchase way more than logical appeal does. So being happy, being emotionally open, and being really excited to connect with your followers in this way is a strategy for your brand, and one that I know you can do super simply. More tips on kind of getting ready to film, whether it's like I was saying, breathing, making sure that you're smiling to get those mirror neurons activated, is something I do is I try to get really big for a few seconds. So I stretch my arms out, I get in a big confident state. So I heard about this once on a TED Talk, and it's truly something that sends signals signals through your body of confidence. If you show up really big, if you're standing there, they did this. So the TED Talk was all about doing this before job interviews, that people who got big and who said those really great affirmations in their head did way better in the job interview. So try that if you haven't before. I know it sounds goofy, but truly your physiological response to that sends that confidence through to your brain. It truly does work. So give it a go and you'll show up way more confident on camera. And you really don't want to think about the camera like a camera, right? Because we are not made to talk to our computer screens here. So you want to think about that one person that you are speaking to, whether you're going to like tape your ideal audience persona's photo over your camera so that you're thinking you're speaking right to them. If that's too nerve-wracking for you, perhaps tape your picture of your best friend or your mom right there so that you remind yourself you're talking to one person, not the entirety of social media. This works for a lot of reasons. One, it gets you more comfortable, but remember, we're building connections with our followers, and connections happen when you have a one-on-one conversation, not a one-to-many conversation, a lot better. So remind yourself you're talking to that one person who's really going to get the most from your video and who's really going to benefit from the outcomes your product or service is promising. When you're practicing, I also really want to remind you that it's hard to come up with video topics to practice sometimes, right? So go into Facebook groups or go into your inbox if you have like a support email inbox and look at what questions people are asking. Use those as video prompts. A lot of the time I get a little bit of a struggle when I think about the script that I'd like to create for my video, but I find it a lot easier if I'm doing like a podcast interview when someone actually asks me a question to confidently give an answer back. So where could you find those questions in your normal life? Well, you could go into Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, your support inbox, and just start answering those questions in a way that you know you are qualified and confidently answering them because they're writing to you for help, right? So that's a really good tip of knowing that what you're talking about is actually going to help someone. That produces a ton of camera confidence. And if you're still a little bit afraid, make sure that you're just making videos in any aspect that you can. Does your mom have a birthday? Cool, make her a video. Get comfortable on camera. Watch that video because remember, you don't like your voice and you don't like how you look on camera because you're not used to it. So get comfortable watching so that you can become self-aware of those tics that you need to get out of your scripting and need to get out of your actual video presence. Other ways that you can practice is doing things like messaging people in your inbox or on Instagram. Rather than writing them back, start to get video messaging back. You can do this super simply just by videoing it on your screen with a program like QuickTime, or there's some cool programs like BombBomb or Bongiorno. Those are both video apps that you can make short videos for your customers, send them to them. This has a really cool effect in the fact that you're building a really strong relationship with that customer who wrote back, and they're going to be blown away by your customer service, tell all their friends about it. So cool points there, but it's also going to allow you to practice in a really low stakes way where you're not in front of an audience, you're just talking to that one person, which is the goal of a live stream anyway, right? Other ways, once you hop into actually doing it on social media, if you don't want to put the time and effort into making a YouTube video, hop onto your Instagram story. Super low cost right there. It's 24 hours is the longest that they exist. There's no editing time necessary. You can always delete it if you hate it, but I encourage you to leave it up so that you build that comfort level with having your face and having that video content out there. And once you start to become a little bit more self-aware and watch yourself on these videos that you're practicing with, really remind yourself that there is a difference between becoming self-aware and becoming self-conscious. I don't want you to go into this becoming super self-conscious. I want you to be self-aware. The reason that I really want you to ask people or look for ways that you can send your mom a birthday video or something like that is because you can then ask your friends, hey, does this sound like me? The best videos that you can make for social media sound like you. They sound like your personality. They don't sound like something that you think your followers want to hear because people are smart. They can tell when you're faking it. They can tell when you're uncomfortable. So just be yourself. I know it is the simplest advice out there and some of the hardest to follow, but start asking people you send these videos to, does this sound like me? What parts of this do you feel like I got awkward in? To get that self-awareness so that you can get rid of that self-consciousness. And remember, you're really trying to please that one person who your product or service can help. We get really nervous on camera because we're people pleasers, a lot of us. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to make sure that you're pleasing your customers, and that's a good thing. But remember, you're not trying to please the whole world when you're speaking to your community. You're trying to please that ideal audience persona who is going to get value from your product or service. So if you're nervous about so many people talking to you, it goes back to one of the first tips here, that you're speaking to one person, you're speaking to your community, and you don't have to worry about other people not liking you or not getting value. If you're trying to please everyone, you're not going to please anyone. That is a mantra that we repeat all the time here at MeetEdgar because it's hard to let go of that self-consciousness so much. So remember that, and know that you can truly always connect with people on a one-on-one video, but this one-to-many format, like doing this live stream, really helps make sure that your brand is getting out there in a really familiar way, so that like when people write into us here at MeetEdgar in our inbox, I'm the one who actually manages our inbox, so you know my face when I write back to you if you follow us on our social feeds, and that's a really cool connection for a software company, right? So how can you make that connection a little bit more human for your internet business? That's the goal of video when it comes down to it. And a lot of the time, some of the things that I get when I talk to people about video is they say, my subject matter is really boring. So let's say you're like a tax coach or something like that. And you're like, people aren't going to watch a video of me breaking down math numbers. Some of you out there who love numbers, don't get mad at me here. No judgment there at all. But what if you do have a kind of boring subject matter that you're a little bit afraid to speak to on video? Well, you have to weave in your personal story, because stories about yourself and that human connection are never boring. We are always interested in someone else's life. That's hardwired in us as humans. We want that connection. So if you feel like your subject matter is too boring to speak about, weave your own story in there. Let people know your origin story of how you became interested in your subject matter. Make sure that you're telling people about how you actually started your company, or how you do something behind the scenes in your company, or what you told a client today. That story of like you and a client working together, and some conversations you had, that's something humans like to hear about. So how can you weave in your personality and your story into your subject matter to make it a little bit more exciting? And remember that you are talking to people, not a camera. So make eye contact. A lot of the time, so right now I'm using a program called StreamYard in order to broadcast this to our LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And I'm looking at the camera on my computer, and I actually have like my notes app out that's covering the video on StreamYard, because I find that if I have like the video up, that I actually just start watching myself and like going like this all over the place, because again, we're a little bit unfamiliar with how to handle just speaking. So make sure you don't have your face up there. Make sure you're looking directly at the camera, whether you're using a web camera or just the simple camera on your computer. As a tip there, remember you don't have to have fancy equipment in order to show up live on social media or pre-recorded on social media. One of the coolest things these days about being a brand on social media is that people don't want to feel like they're sold to. So the more edited and the more polished your video is, oftentimes people will actually ignore that video more than if it's just like a one-on-one low budget chat like this, because they see those really high polished videos and they're like, oh, this is an advertisement. I don't want to buy anything right now. Skip over it. Where if they just see someone speaking one-on-one and they're comfortable with who you are, they might stop. Or if they're just seeing like a video like this shot on your iPhone, they might be like, wait, is that one of my friends? And stop to take a look, right? So if you're scared that you can't do video on social media because you don't have the right equipment, trust me, all I have is my iMac and one light set up here, and that is all you need to get started. So go out there, practice like I mentioned, get some questions from your inbox, from people who are DMing you, from different groups, to really make sure that you are answering people's questions to build your confidence in the subject matter that you're speaking about. And then once you get comfortable doing that, come up with some of your own topics, make sure you're speaking to that one person, and make sure that you remind yourself too that your videos need to be out there and they need to be shared to the people who need them the most. So every time you're ending a video on social media, I want you to give a little bit of a summary and give a little bit of a call to action takeaway, because your video should be moving people more towards the desired outcome that they want. So I know for MeetEdgar, our ideal audience persona, your desired outcome is to gain more brand awareness. It's to get more followers, and it's to get your brand out there. Video is a way to do this. So my call to action at the end of this video is for you to start practicing these tips. Go out and do your very first Instagram story, your very first live stream. Of course, I want to see it, so share it in the comments below. But give people that call to action, because so much of the time we're just sort of zoning out when we watch video that we forget, oh, wait a minute, I can take action on these tips. And if your followers take action on these tips and they see a result, you best believe they're going to come back to your next video and they're going to want to continue to build that relationship with you. And encourage your followers to do things like comment, share, subscribe. Again, having a call to action at the end is one of the most important things that you can do so that people don't just continue to scroll and move away from it. And you sometimes need to do things on your video like give people a reason, what's the benefit of them sharing this video? You could do something like say, hey, if you share this video, you'll be entered to win a free coaching call with me. Or everyone who comments in this video in the next 5 minutes is entered to win a free month of my subscription software, something like that. Because truly when it comes down to it, humans are going to do things that benefit them way more than they're just going to think to do it without a kind of prompt, right? So show people what's in it for them by thinking about these creative things that you can offer to get more engagement onto your videos. And remember, the internet is so saturated today that to become an expert and to stand out, you do truly need to show your face online. So get brave, get excited about video, and let me know when you make your first, or if you're a video veteran, let me know where your videos live in the comments below. I would love to check them out and connect with you guys elsewhere. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm excited that you all continue to show up for these, and I would also really love to know what topics on social media you're excited to learn about, because we're more than happy to dive into those. So I'll see you guys tomorrow and have a great rest of your Tuesday.